Anupriya Dobal from Resurgent India. In our last episode, we talked about PLI schemes. This week, let's look at how the Make in India initiative has fared. You are likely aware that Make in India is an initiative by government to encourage companies to develop, manufacture and assemble products in India and incentivize dedicated investments into manufacturing. Announced in 2014, Make in India had three stated objectives. First, to increase the manufacturing sector's growth rate to 12 to 14% per annum. Second, to create 100 million additional manufacturing jobs in the economy by 2022. And third, to ensure that the manufacturing sector's contribution to GDP is increased to 25% by 2022, which was later revised to 2025. The Make in India initiative presently focuses on 27 sectors and is driven by two key agencies. The DPIIT coordinates action plans for 15 manufacturing sectors, while the Department of Commerce coordinates with 12 service sectors. In September 2022, India proudly commissioned its first indigenous aircraft carrier INS Vikrant at Cochin Shipyard Limited. Every part of INS Vikrant showcases the nation's homegrown potential resources and skills. Even the steel used in its airbase is entirely indigenous, developed by DRDO scientists and produced by Indian companies. Meanwhile, the Indian toy industry has seen remarkable growth even as the quality of toys in the domestic market has improved significantly. From semiconductors to smartphones, India is quickly becoming a major hub for goods that were once barely produced here. Big manufacturers are setting up shop and starting production in the country. However, the real success of Make in India will be seen in the overall impact it has on the manufacturing sector in India. The share of manufacturing in GVA has not gone up since 2014, the year in which Make in India was launched. The manufacturing sector's GVA in 2014-15 stood at 17.34%. In 2023-24, it is still the same at 17.34%. Another way to gauge progress towards this goal is by examining investment data in India's manufacturing sector. One key indicator is the gross fixed capital formation in manufacturing as a percentage of GDP. An increase in this measure would suggest growing investments in manufacturing capacity, potentially leading to more manufacturing in the future. Now, even if we exclude the pandemic years when capital investments were challenging, there has been no significant progress since the Make in India initiative was launched. If you look at the chart on your screen, it shows a declining trend in the gross fixed capital formation in manufacturing since 2014 and 15. Although efforts to boost investments and enhance the ease of doing business have continued, the focus has increasingly shifted to fiscal policy measures. The government has employed three main fiscal tools: tariff hikes, tax cuts, and production linked incentive subsidies. It began with increased import tariffs on various products in the late 2017, followed by tax reductions for new manufacturing enterprises announced in September 2019. For instance, India imposes much higher tariffs on the import of electronic components than Vietnam and China. Vietnam's approach differs significantly from India's, with free trade agreements covering about 80% of its imports. It maintains an average import tariff of only 0.7%. India, on the other hand, has a higher average import tariff of 6.7%. Also, non-tariff barriers like strict standards, health and safety measures for food and plants, and technical trade barriers have limited Indian exporters' access to partner markets. For instance, despite having an FTA with Japan, our exports haven't grown much due to Japan's tough import standards. Policies like Make in India should go through a standard cost benefiting analysis, just like they do in many other countries. When done right, it can help pick the best policies, make necessary adjustments, and evaluate the results after implementation. For Make in India, greater transparency around the reasoning behind the policy and detailed documentation of its progress could invite helpful feedback and improvements. One might argue that it's still early to gauge success. with elements like PLI schemes and tax cuts introduced only in the last few years. Structural transformation takes time, and we may need to try different policy approaches to make it happen. Thanks for watching.